Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Pie Records, and I'm here with the Surfle Jerks. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
good.
Good. Good.
Good.
Yeah.
First, before we go any further, I want to reference the name. I really like it, and I totally get it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was basically just an inside joke in a text message thread with me and my friend Eric, and it just stuck. I thought it was a genius reference, and I'm like, yeah, I like it. It'll fit.
Cool. I was listening to, I think, one of your EPs today, and one of the songs that stuck out to me was "Chicken Scratch." You want to talk about that a little bit?
Uh, yeah. I mean, so basically, our whole shtick is that we're a video game cover band. So we'll take our favorite video game songs and turn them into surf covers. And Chicken Scratch is Electric Day Chocobo from Final Fantasy VII, which is just a very surfy song in general. And, it was one of those that stood out to me that I've always wanted to kind of cover because, being a lover of the surf genre, it was very much so that like I need to cover this. And so when we started working on the first album, that was right at the top of the list to cover. So, but to be honest, I've never played Final Fantasy VII. So, but I like the music from Final Fantasy VII.
So what gave you guys the idea to do video game covers?
There's a big VGM community that's been around for a long time, and there's bands that cover video game music, a lot of metal bands, rock bands, jazz bands. I've been in a separate band since 2009 doing kind of the same thing, but metal versions of these video games. And I just, I had some creativity that I needed to output. And that's why I started this idea of like, well, there's not a lot of surf representation in this genre and community that we play in, and I think it's time to do something about that.
I thought it was really cool. Really cool idea.
Yeah.
So let's introduce the band. Just say your names and what instruments you play.
So I'm Frankie Van Hooser, and I'm the lead guitar player
Slash arranger slash
guy. I mean, yeah, just lead guitar player / arranger and / guy. Clint, go ahead.
Okay, my name's Clint Van Hooser, and I'm the drummer.
Cool.
And John.
I'm actually Frankie's uncle.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm John McCarthy, and I'm the bass guitarist.
Great. We have the whole rhythm section, and I want to know, as far as surf goes, besides the video game music, where do you guys get your sound? Like what music got you guys interested in surf music?
Clint, go ahead and start with this one.
Oh, well, for me, I was really influenced. I mean, of course, not to sound like, well, I am the oldest out of the bunch, but I've been playing since the 60s. So my influences were like the Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, the Safaris, just things like that. And I kind of cut my teeth on playing those records. And so that kind of got me going. And then when Frankie asked me to do this, it was kind of like going back home, kind of cutting my teeth all over again and kind of going back to basics. And it's just been really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think, I started playing guitar when I was 11. And one of the first tab guitar books that my dad handed me was a surf guitar book, and it had the Ventures and Dick Dale and the Safaris in it. And that kind of became my go-to of just like I like their music, I think it's awesome, and I just really want to play like Dick Dale. And that's kind of always been the goal. And whether I accomplish that or not is one thing, but Yeah, so kind of the same thing with Clint. I've been playing metal music for over 10 years and my other side project, and getting to play surf again and making it my main genre now of music has been welcomed, and yeah, like a homecoming. So yeah, I mean, the big guys, Dick Dale, the Ventures, Safaris, pretty much all of them.
Awesome.
John.
And then yeah, for me, I definitely have the least surf cred in the band. But like because I've been playing punk and metal for however long now. And but like growing up as a kid, I was always a huge Beach Boys fan. Um and then so it's like when I was young, I was like living down the street or something when I lived down in Thousand Oaks from their one of their producers or something on an album, and like hung out with his kids all the time. So it was like they played the Beach Boys for me and I was always super into it. So um there was that. And then just kind of like later on hearing different surf stuff in Tarantino movies and things like that. So when Frankie invited me to come play, I was pumped.
Rad, rad, rad. So I want to talk a little bit about technically your guitar playing. It's pretty it's pretty precise. Would you say Dick Dale is your influence, or your style sounds a little bit different than Dick Dale? Who would you say your influences are?
Well, first off, thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I think Dick Dale is probably the hugest influence. When I was younger, like that would be the song that I'd learn it from a book, kind of figure out all the fingering styling to playing, but then I'd listen to his records and try to just play as fast and as precise as he does. And that's kind of, yeah, in the back of my mind, it's always been the goal of like, yeah, I've seen him play concerts numerous times, and just his stage presence, the way he kind of plays and conducts, but like, if a mistake's made, how he transitions into the other parts of the song to make it sound seamless. It's always something that I've tried to imitate, at least in my play style. So yeah, he's been a huge influence.
Awesome. So John, you said you're living in Thousand Oaks. Is that where you guys are basically um based out of? Because I know Thousand Oaks is a little ways away from LA.
Yeah, we're actually in San Luis Obispo. I lived in Thousand Oaks when I was like 8, 9, something like that, before moving up here. So yeah, we're actually based out of kind of like the Central Coast, which is maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours outside of LA,
Yeah.
kind of in between LA and San Francisco.
Yeah, and Clint, you're up in my uncle actually lives in yeah.
I'm up in Fraser Park, so it's up in the mountains, in between Valencia and Bakersfield.
Okay. I used to live in Monterey years ago. So I love the Central Coast. It's
a great place.
yeah. So what are you guys working on right now? You obviously have something going on. I see a lot of posts from you guys. I'd like to know a little bit about what you're working on.
Yeah, so I'm currently in the process of figuring out our next album. We have 3 on our Bandcamp right now. 2 of them are live projects from a show that we played and then a virtual show that we played. So currently just working on that, trying to find the songs from games that I'm really into, seeing if they'll fit the surf genre, tone, and arrangements, and then kind of going from there. Yesterday, I just recorded a guitar track, and I know Clint recorded drums because I listened to them today, and they're really good, for a project that I can't speak about right now. I can't say anything about it. It has to be completely secret until the end of the month. So
Okay.
that'll all be posted on our socials, and it will be great. It's really fun. I'm digging all of it right now. So that's cool. So yeah, we're currently in the midst of a one song secret project.
Great. So Clint, who would you say influenced your drumming? A lot of great drummers from the '60s and before.
Uh, shoot. Well, Buddy Rich was a big influence. I always get these guys mixed up. I think it's Doug Clifford of Creedence. He was an influence. John Bonham. Of course, you know, any drummer, John Bonham is always an influence. You know, those three, Carl Palmer, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, you take some of those guys, you put them all together, and then you know, you take what they give and you kind of figure out your own style. It kind of sounds funny because none of those guys that I know of played surf music, but they were very intricate in what they did. So it's just kind of nice to take some of the stuff that they do and you kind of just make it your own style. And I, you know, I think I have my own style. Though these guys make what I do very easy. So don't get any more difficult than you are, Frankie. But anyway, they just make things easy for me. And I've always liked playing surf stuff and it's just a lot of fun.
You mentioned Buddy Rich. On YouTube, there's tons of videos of him, obviously, that I remember as a kid being on TV, but he's quite a character if you watch him in interviews.
Yeah, he is. You know, now I don't know if this is true, but I heard that they were wheeling him in the hospital or doing something happened to him, and he just absolutely said how much he hated country music. You know, so to me, that's just, I think, him being a character. But the guy can play. You know, there's him, Gene Krupa, you know, those guys that just kind of paved the road for us guys. You know, and then, you know, now some of these kids that play, they're just incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think a lot of it spans from, you know, watching him and other good drummers. So
very cool, very cool. I see you have a nice setup there, Frankie. Do you do any online stuff?
Yeah, actually, John and I on Friday nights we stream on Twitch. We play video games together. So video game is definitely the core of like our stuff. So I'm a huge gamer. John's a huge gamer. Clint, I think you've played video games before. So but yeah, so yeah, I have a full stream setup for Twitch and such. So yeah.
I have a couple of friends that do Twitch. Tell me about what exactly you do on Twitch.
I mean, right now we're going through this game called Alien Swarm, and it's basically a 4-player co-op game where you fight against hordes of aliens, and it's extremely hard. And John and I and our friend Noah, who plays with us, have been stuck on a certain level for, what is it, 3 weeks now?
Yeah, something like that.
I think
Basically,
we've done 50 tries at this level and can't beat it.
I think to sum up what we do on Twitch, we test the limits of our friendship in every way possible.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We test those limits and we survive till the next Friday when we stream again. And yeah, we test those limits through game. So yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Awesome. So do you put out your own music, or who are you working with if you're not?
Yeah, it's all done in-house. I bought gear to record with, and while being socially distanced, Clint bought gear, John has his own gear, so we're all doing everything distance right now. But the first album we did, Clint came down, I recorded drums, and I mixed and mastered it myself. So everything is kind of just done in-house, and really just for the fun of it and the creative learning process of it. Like, this is tech, and all of that video and audio really interests me. So any chance I get to tinker and do those things, like, I want to take on myself, and they're a lot of fun. So
Awesome.
yeah, so everything's done in-house.
And you release your own music?
Yeah. Right now we're on bandcamp.com, and or it's the surflejerks.bandcamp.com, and yeah, everything's just put up there. We got some t-shirts, we got some swag if you're interested. And yeah.
Very cool. Does anybody want to talk about, I know the name was kind of inside joke, but how much of that punk rock aesthetic do you think you brought to the music?
John, our resident punk rocker.
I definitely tried to dial in like a more surf bass tone and things like that, but everything I do always kind of has that punk rock DIY aesthetic. I personally enjoy it, even when I'm playing in metal bands and things like that. I always kind of have a little bit of that crossover. So I don't know. I think that there was a lot of value in not only the music of punk, but also kind of just the way of doing things. And I think that that's probably more where we embody, kind of that culture. But certainly, I think that we put a little edge on everything a bit more than maybe some of the traditional surf stuff too. So
Yeah. Which I find interesting. I like when people kind of experiment a little bit, and it sounds like you guys are definitely thinking outside the box.
A little more than traditional surf, a little less than Agent Orange. That's like the middle ground that I wanted to be in, where I'm like, I don't want to be as crazy as them, but I just want to be in this middle area, because it will be fast and fun, but not too crazy.
Yeah, I had to dial back my Harley Flanagan natural impulses of just going full Cro-Mags on the bass and like really hammering away. So
that would be funny to see at a surf show.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. All right, we have new goals for our first live show, whenever that happens.
A year plus of pent-up aggression.
Oh my God. It's gonna happen soon, guys. I hope for you, and I hope everybody gets out playing soon. Have you guys been able to look into the later part of the year and maybe try to book something?
I think my current idea right now is just making sure the safety of everyone in the band and their families and stuff is definitely number one priority. So when that is all kind of taken care of, then definitely I think there'll be a discussion about getting out there to play more shows. At this point, working on the album, shows kind of aren't in my mind. We played 3 virtual shows last year, so that's definitely a possibility to do, and it's definitely a possibility once safety has increased to get together to play a virtual show. But I think when you're kind of starting an album and you get that mentality of like learning new songs and arrangements, the idea of playing shows kind of takes a sidestep. So we're kind of in a an unfortunately good place in the aspect of everything to get to work on the next album and not have to worry about shows when there are no shows to worry about.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk about your next album. What how is your sound progressed, evolved since the EP?
I definitely think I've learned a lot on the backside of the mixing and mastering with doing the live shows, to a point where like I think I could just keep making it sound better and fuller, because while I think the first album sounds great and I'm very happy and proud of it, there's only room for improvement after that. And I think with every project you want to strive for that like next step of improvement. But I think it's just going to be the on the same side of things, like the 3-piece sound. The first album I tried to do like where I overdubbed lead guitar and rhythm guitar, that while I like that sound, I'm very much into the representation of the band, and the band right now is a 3-piece. So that's what that's probably going to focus on, is just lead guitar, bass, and the drums.
So more like a live sound.
Yeah, I've always favorited live music over pre-recorded stuff. Not that any of the pre-recorded stuff is bad. I just like that live energy and feel. So I definitely want that to come across with the next album we put out.
I would say it also affects the way, maybe not as much the writing, but the arrangements and how you play, because you're compensating for two guitars in one.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some double duty, and it's hard because my the process behind that is, figuring out a song. I then record it, and I kind of go, does that sound good? Is it gonna sound good? Have I done it wrong? But then I leave it up to Clint and John, who are amazing musicians, to, as Clint said earlier, we make him sound better. But the truth is, they make me sound better. They fill out the song. On the first album we had, They Can't All Be Metal. We have a song on there from Mario 64. It's Dire Dire Docks. And my original idea for it was just guitar and bass, because that's kind of what the song is. There's no drums in the beginning portion of it. There's like crazy stuff that happens at the end and fast stuff, which I was like, I want to focus on this section of the song. And so my whole idea was just like, we're just gonna do guitar and bass and fill it out. But then Clint came with an idea of, oh well, I can do this on this instrument. And I was like, yes, please do that. That sounds amazing. And that's kind of when it clicked to me that, oh, I need to let them do their thing, because they know what they're doing and talking about, and I don't. So I'll just do this side of the arrangement and the guitar playing, and it's completely worked out. Like the secret song that we're working on right now, I recorded it and I had that moment of like, okay, I don't know if that sounds good, but I know Clint's gonna make the drum sound badass, and here we go. And I sent it to him, and he gave me back the tracks, and I listened to it today, and I was like, I had nothing to worry about.
Well, thanks.
So every time I have a band that records themselves, I always want to pick their brains a little bit. And what I'd like to ask you is something I've never asked anybody. It is, what is the process of mastering your own music? Tell me about what goes into that.
Okay, that's that's an incredibly deep question. I feel like because I'm so new at this stuff, I don't even feel like I know the complete answer. But basically, it's just, for me, it's trying to make sure that in the mixing process where everything sounds even, that in the mastering, the levels sound good, so that you don't have to crank up your stereo to listen to it. And then everything comes out kind of flush and even at that point. That was my goal with mastering. Whether that's the right or the wrong way to do it, I don't know, but it seemed to work for the first project. So that's kind of the goal. My self-taught goal of mastering is just making sure that the end product sounds even across all the tracks and sounds loud out of your speakers at like 10. But not overmodulated, not peaking, but just loud enough to be like, okay, I don't have to crank this up too loud unless I want to.
Awesome. Is there anything else you guys like to add before we take off?
Well, thanks for having us. This was
absolutely.
cool. I believe this was our first interview, so thank you.
Oh, awesome. I'm honored.
Yeah, we have a YouTube page. It has all of our shows on it. Our virtual shows that we did last year, and our very first, we did a live show last year. And that's on our YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, search the Surfle Jerks, and you'll see our logo. Our Bandcamp is the surflejerks.bandcamp.com. And we have an Instagram page, and I believe it's just insert in Instagram, type in the Surfle Jerks. Everything's pretty, even Facebook, everything's just the Surfle Jerks. So yeah, if you want to come, listen and check us out, then that'd be awesome. John, Clint, anything?
Keep an eye on our secret songs.
Secret,
coming out at the end of the month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Secret songs.
Top secret, stealthy.
Yes. Yes. The top secret song is a requirement of this project. So like that's why we can't say anything about it, because it's actually has to be kept secret. So
Okay.
so I'm excited about that too. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
I like it.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, and that'll once it hits, it'll be on our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube. It'll be out there in the wild, and definitely included on our next album afterwards. So it's gonna be good.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for your time and talking to me today. And I was very happy to get to know your music a little bit. So I'm really stoked on this new album that you're working on.
Well, thank you for having us once again. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. So
Yep.
Cool.
yeah.
Have fun on Twitch tonight.
Yeah, Friday nights, Twitch. You can find us. Don't worry, you'll be able to find us, and you can hear me and John yell at each other about video games.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Okay.
All righty, you too.
Thank you.